Former Vice President Mike Pence on these streets, dry snitching on Donald Trump. Here it is.
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued.
Amazing. Mike Pence says Donald Trump had crackpot lawyers. You know, Mike Pence is a lawyer too. And it was Dan Quayle who saved democracy. We all know this. As I said, it's on these streets. Mike Pence has decided to change his tone. Initially, when the idea of indicting Trump for elections violation, trying to overturn democracy as we know it, it was Mike Pence who went on national television and said this is a bad thing for America. They likely do not have enough evidence to overcome reasonable doubt. Mike Pence provided defense for Trump, even post-Trump presidency. Why has Pence changed his tune? I have, well, a theory. I think Mike Pence is aware that since the indictment has gone forward, it will be revealed that he did in fact testify and provide damning information against Donald Trump personally, directly. And in order to align himself with the narrative that may be forthcoming, he has now decided to change the vigor of his proclamation as it relates to democracy being overthrown almost. Now, something fascinating happened in 1986. I was alerted to this by a dear friend of mine. I would not have believed it if I did not see it with my own eyes. Frank Zappa, band leader, obviously was also a prophet. Here's what he said in 1986 to conservative leaders back then.
I'm not going to give you a civics lesson here, but I'll tell you one thing. We must not see eye to eye on the idea of a government that must forbid things in order to protect
What is
families.
the government's role? You've told me several times what it shouldn't do.
How about national defense?
Yeah, I consider this national defense, pal. Our families are under attack from people like you with these lyrics.
John, you don't have to buy them.
Mr. Zappa, could I make a statement about national defense?
Yeah.
The biggest threat to America today is not communism. It's moving America toward a fascist theocracy. And everything that's happened during the Reagan administration is steering us right down that pipe.
Oh, Mr. Zappa, you're not really serious if you're saying we're going toward a fascist theocracy.
That's right, we are. When you have a government that prefers a certain moral code derived from a certain religion, and that moral code turns it into legislation to suit one certain religious point of view, and if that code happens to be very, very right-wing, almost toward Attila the Hun.
Well, then you are an anarchist. Every form of civil government is based on some kind of morality, Frank.
Morality in terms of behavior, not in terms of theology.
Say it again, Frank. He was correct. The man saw things that people did not quite see clearly in 1986. Now, some were aware that if you continue down this road of adopting religious belief for statutory dynamics inside of your state or federal government, it would be a problem. Not only did he articulate it, he said very clearly, there's two moral designs. One is contextualized through the interpretation of one religion. That's literally what the founding fathers of this nation escaped from, as flawed as they were. The other is about behavior, to make sure that people have the opportunity to life, the opportunity to liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Donald Trump did not create the slope. He simply put us on the fast track to slide down it. When Trump was indicted, many said this would create a slippery slope. No, it stopped it. It put a pause to it. It sent a message that even a former United States president is not above the law. We shall see how the prosecution goes. As I said before, I do believe that Trump will be indicted by the Fulton County grand jury in the state of Georgia and possibly state of New York in the near future. All right, Yasmin, hell of a thing. Mike Pence, once again, big, bad, bold, correcting the record at Fox News by letting them know, no, this was not a pause. Trump told me to overturn the election. Trump told me to stop democracy. He's being bold and clear about it today.
Absolutely, and he had to make that clarification. He had to go publicly and say that because just a few days earlier on CNN, one of Trump's lawyers went on and he was saying, "Oh no, all they asked him was to pause the certification." And so Pence had to then clarify that no, they didn't ask me to pause it. It was way worse than that, and I was not legally able to do it, and I didn't do it. I was just working on this for the breakdown, so it's kind of fresh in my head right now, but. It's all kind of interesting because we're seeing a lot of these people come out and speak out against Trump and the insurrection in regards to these indictments that came out earlier this week. It all feels a little like too little, too late. It seems like they're looking out for themselves, whether that's to avoid getting pulled into this legally, at least any more than they already have been, or to avoid further public backlash. But none of this is new or unexpected. This is what happens. Whenever there's corruption in a system, it's never isolated. One man cannot be corrupt on his own. It's not just Trump. It takes a whole team of people, a network of people really, to enact corruption on any kind of meaningful level. And it takes a lot to take down that level of corruption that's as big as this one is. A concerted legal effort is what it's gonna take. And hopefully that's what we're just starting to see now.
Yeah, there's the legal strategy. Obviously, they would like to prosecute Donald Trump before he becomes president again. But here's another dynamic Republicans are not discussing publicly. Trump does not have the right to run as a Republican. He does not have the right. The Republican Party is a company, it's an organization. It is comprised of a board of directors and a leader, a chairman of the board. They can choose to disqualify Trump at any time. But Republicans who are antithetical to Trump have not pressured the Republican Party to make such a move. My point is, there's more than one way to get this done if Republicans are authentic about being anti-Donald Trump, or are they leveraging the opportunity like they did the first time, being totally against Trump until Trump once again clinched the nomination, and then all of a sudden, all is forgiven. They support Trump because Trump is in proximity of power. All right, we shall see.